up, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome back to another Tuffy Talk football preview. My name is Lindsay. I'm here with Michael, Macon, and Greg to discuss the VT game. NC State is visiting Virginia Tech for a 3:30 game on Saturday, where NC State is plus 3.5 as of today. Thoughts on the line and the game in general, guys?
I think it's fair. I mean, you're playing in Blacksburg, one of the toughest stadiums to play in, and State doesn't have a great offense. They have an elite defense right now. You're not really sure what you're going to get. You feel better about it coming out of the Wake Forest game, but Wake Forest also looked terrible. I mean, and I don't really know what to make out of Virginia Tech completely just yet because they're up and down with wins. They're 5-5. Um, you know, I I think it's fair just to kind of answer your question.
Yeah. Yeah. When we did our season preview, I think I picked this one as a loss. And, it's definitely going to be a tough game. And, it wasn't looking like Virginia Tech was going to be that good this year, but, that could be – it's going to be tough.
But technically, they're not really that good this year. They're 5-5, but it's just like
right.
I get what you're saying, but they're playing in a way that they seem dangerous to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, Tech is 5-5, but they're also 4-1 at home. Talking about Blacksburg being a hard place to play. Lane Stadium holds over 66,000 people. That's almost 10,000 more than Carter Finley. So, Greg, how do you think it affects, the outcome of this game that we are playing there instead of in Raleigh?
Yeah, I mean, this is a place where State's traditionally struggled. They're 10-23-3 all time at Lane. So, I mean, that just kind of speaks to the ambiance, the environment that is Lane Stadium. I remember going there on a Friday night. It was rainy, it was crappy, and Tech was still there in full force.
There.
You were there too, Macon. Yeah.
Yep. 2015.
Yeah. So, look, every year it's a different team, but history is history. But State's riding high on momentum right now. Their defense is playing solid. This is like we talked in our live stream. This is a Tech quarterback that is fairly mobile, and we have had some struggles in that regard. But I think it'll be a test that the D line and the defense as a whole will be up and ready to accept that challenge.
Yeah, in comparing quarterbacks, we are back with Brennan Armstrong, who is our leading passer and rusher. As passer, he has 1,082 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. VT's leading passer is their sophomore QB, Kyron Drones, who has 1,524 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So pretty impressive stats there. What do you guys think is stopping Virginia Tech from being more successful, from having more wins?
Having more wins. I think it is somewhat of the gelling that they're having offensively. A lot of transfers coming in, it sounds like. I have some friends, VT friends, from my time living there, and talking to a few of them. They mentioned how Virginia Tech had a lot of their receivers or a bunch of transfers. Like I think of one guy in particular, Stephen Gosnell, was a guy NC State recruited. He committed to UNC. I remember him playing at UNC a little bit, and then he's transferred to Virginia Tech. I think Jaquan Felton, is another receiver for them, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but they've had some guys that have been, I think, just trying to figure each other out, their chemistry with the quarterback, and it hasn't helped either that they started out the season with Grant Wells at quarterback and then switched quarterbacks. So I think part of it is they're letting their young quarterback play through mistakes and figure things out, kind of like State was doing with MJ Morris, and it's just kind of playing it the way it is now. They're a dangerous team because I don't really know what their ceiling could be right now. With the more they start to figure things out with drones, what that could be. But that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's a kind of a similar situation to State. Is they don't have the game breakers at the skill positions. They've played multiple quarterbacks, so it's a similar situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just saying, looking at their stats, I mean, their offensive and defense efficiency, they're both 7th in the ACC in that category, and they give up about as many points as they score. So if you look at just looking at the raw numbers, they don't, like Macon was saying, they don't really excel in one area, and they're winning a lot of close ball games when they do win games. They've done well and beat the teams that they, for the most part, should be beating. And then, struggling with some of the better opponents in the ACC.
Yeah, they're definitely middle of the line, but the similarities between Tech and State are clear here. Issues between different quarterbacks and some kind of offensive gelling issues. How have you guys seen our offense improve in recent weeks, and what are you hoping and expecting to see against Virginia Tech?
I mean, I know for me, we've talked about it at nauseum that after that Duke game and the bye, we went out and found our identity, and then each week we've just kind of sans the MJ Morris drama, right? We pretty much had our identity carved out, and even with Brendan stepping back in as QB1, they've still maintained that identity. They haven't gone off script and chucked it 40 times, which was what you were seeing a little bit earlier in the season.
Really?
Brennan was throwing the ball a little bit more, doing more reads on his offensive, in his passing tree routes. They've narrowed gone to kind of half field, half quarter, reads for him, and really simplified the offense.
Yeah. No, I think Greg's spot on there. I mean, they figured it out with MJ and then just kind of plug Brennan back in there last week. And, get the ball to KC as much as you can without overloading him. That seems to be the key there.
10. Get the ball to 10.
Yeah. And then get some kind of ground game going and throw the ball only when you need to.
Any further thoughts on that, Macon?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. They getting the ball to the best players. I will say what I didn't realize when we mentioned at the live show. I didn't realize that at Wake Forest that was the first game of the season was 0 drops by the receivers. That's progress, right? We talk about how the receivers, the offense as a whole, has really sucked in a lot of ways, and until this point, and that's a step in the right direction for the receivers, right? Yeah. First touchdown of his career for Julian Gray. You kind of break open the scoring and then honestly get into the minds of Wake Forest early on in that game. And, I think State's trying to do that. You're not just, I think, well, I will say this. I think State is having to form a little bit of an identity now. And I think it's kind of happened lately. Get a little bit of a lead, let the defense win you the game, and don't screw it up on offense. And that's okay with me. That's good conservative football. And that embodies Dave Doran. So that's how he wants to win. I think if he could pick the way he wants teams to win, he'd be totally okay with this right now.
I think
I definitely agree.
Yeah, I think another thing that we've done a really nice job of is cleaning up penalties. We only had 2 for 10 yards against Wake, but unfortunately, again, the one thing that keeps plaguing us in the penalty department is pre-snap penalties, and so we just need to figure out a way. And the reason I mentioned that is Lane's gonna probably be loud, and so
they're sold out for the game.
Yeah, so we just can't be putting this is not an offense built to be in second and 15, second and 20, third and 10. This is not an offense that's designed to get you out of those holes. At least not consistently. Like we saw Brendan get a 10-yard scramble against Wake, right? But I think Virginia Tech's line is much better than Wake Forest's, so we're gonna have to go out and earn this, especially in the trenches.
Agreed. Yeah. And we talked about how, our receivers aren't dropping those passes. We talked about Casey, who has been our saving grace many times. And I don't think any of us would be shocked for him to be ACC Rookie of the Year. He's our leading receiver with 50 receptions for 573 yards, while Virginia Tech's leading receiver, Jalen Lane, has 33 receptions for 458 yards. So kind of showing Kevin Concepcion's dominance, and if the other receivers are, not dropping passes and succeeding as well, I think that's definitely promising. But talking about the offense, Greg, you've kind of stuck since the midseason kind of reviews, since the bye week, to if we score 24 points, our defense will get it handled. That's what's going to win us games. Do you stand by that against Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I still think 24 is the magic number. Again, I talked about it a few minutes ago that Virginia Tech scoring right about 24 points. State's a defense that's giving up just under 20 points. So again, if we can, and we're scoring 24.8, like I mentioned in the live stream. So get me that 24. I think, again, like Macon, I think it was Macon that you just said it, just the offense, just do enough. Don't go shooting yourself in the foot, and defense will will carry the water pail and get you what you need.
Yeah, I'm looking at that too. They are Virginia Tech is they are allowing teams to score. I think there was 23.8 or
Mm-hmm.
23.9 points per game. So if they allow that for us and we do hit that 24, I think it's
Yep.
23.9. They're allowing that for State. I mean, State can get that 24. I feel comfortable. And offensively, Virginia Tech's averaging about 26. State's averaging 24.8. Um,
Thanks.
State's just hasn't have to me. There's a little bit of a difference there. State has a better defense. I'm trying to look to see where Virginia Tech is really, playing well at right now and what they're elite at. It looks
Their
like
D linemen.
their passing defense is
Mm-hmm.
actually number one in the ACC right now.
Yep.
They are allowing 161.2 passing yards per game.
Wow.
That is first in the ACC. So I think they're going to force State. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to play their strength and make State a running team, because I don't think they would want to do that. I think you would want to try to dare Brendan Armstrong to be a throwing quarterback, because he himself is a runner. But it doesn't play to their strength. So I don't know how they're going to play this. It's interesting. They've played tough opponents in like really Florida State. But I don't know who else they've played. Pitt's not good. Boston College.
They play
Louisville, and they got steamrolled by Louisville and Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And Pittsburgh, Louisville, and Florida State. So I don't really know what to think about him. All I know is the guy who scares me is Drones for Virginia Tech. I really think one thing I've noticed, and I don't know how much I'm getting ahead of myself here, Lindsay, so you can stop me if I need to. But another thing a tidbit that my BT friends have shared with me is one area of weakness that they sense with Virginia Tech right now is they think their offensive line is pretty thin and not that great. That would be playing to NC State's strength right now.
Absolutely.
So,
Definitely.
To me, I mean, State's played some dual threat QBs. I mean, not a ton this year, but they played some. And
not as many this year.
Not as many.
Hasn't really been. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so I feel like as long as they can contain the quarterback, I do think State's going to be okay. I just think you may. I don't know if you're going to see a lot of, a lot of guys in like cover twos and like a lot of I think you're going to be really focusing on Drones and containing him and try to make him beat you through the air and play to the strength of your cornerbacks and the way your secondary is playing right now. Let them do their job. That's just a few thoughts there.
Yeah, the one thing that worries me on the defensive side is if we, start bringing blitzes and we don't get to him and that he breaks containment.
Yeah,
that's what scares me. Yeah,
I don't think we're going to do that. I don't know. I get this feeling probably not going to play more conservative. Yeah. But I don't want them to dictate to us what they're going to do. I think you'll see some of the blitzing, but I really think it's going to be the hybrid looks. I think you're going to see some of that.
Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flightlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flightlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flightlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flightlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't. You play. I mean, with Aiden White and Shaheem Battle, like you just let them play one-on-ones. Like I said, Virginia Tech doesn't have that game breaker at wide receiver, so you feel comfortable leaving them out there, and that's what Tony Gibson did against Wake. And just like you said, contain Drones.
I'm looking to see where their best receiver, according to ACC stats, is Jalen Lane.
Yep.
He's 16th in the ACC, and he's averaging 50.9 yards per game. That's not a whole lot. So I think I'm curious to see where they are in the rushing category, and I don't even know if that's that great.
They got some guys that they got Tootin, who's got 4.5 yards.
11th
He's probably Yeah. And then Drones, their quarterback, is their second leading rusher. And then they've got some guys that have, sprinkled in some runs there. One guy has got, 6.38 Duke, but he's got limited carries, only 11. So really, they only have three guys that have got more than 50 carries. But I think we do a really good job at stacking, stopping the run. That's it. I think other than I only really feel like the UConn game we kind of didn't do a great job covering the run. Is there a game that Duke? I think Duke, they ran the ball pretty well against us. Yeah, I forgot about that one. I think we all
We
wanted to
pretend
forget
that
about
game didn't
one.
happen. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
for sure. But this is a defensive unit that that will. I think they're just going to wreak havoc. I think this is a team where we can just get after the quarterback, just be smart about it. I don't feel like they scare me. Like, it's not like we're not talking Carolina's offense,
I
right?
wonder if they're more scary just from like the perception of things right now with them than they actually are.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like their team revolves around the run. To me, it's Drones and it's Tootin, right? Tootin is or Tutton, how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
He is. I think
I think it's Tootin.
Tootin.
I think it's Tootin as well.
He is.
He's rootin' tootin'.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure he's heard that his whole life. He's up there. He's one of the better players in all-purpose yards. He's fourth in all-purpose yards per game, and he's 21st in total offense per game. So he's Tootin and Drones are the two main guys I'm watching the defense will need to focus on. Make Drones a thrower. I think you're going to see that. I want to say I feel like this game plays to NC State's strengths a little bit. Possibly, but the dual threat aspect of Drones, and like I said earlier, Virginia Tech's trying to figure things out, albeit against bad competition. And when they play good competition, they don't look great. Yeah. But I think they're trying to figure things out, and they're taking a step from where they were last year to this year. Being at home against Virginia Tech, I mean, it's going to be tough. Has State played in an environment like that yet this season? They haven't really done that, so this is going to be the toughest environment they've played in. But UConn, Duke,
Virginia,
Miami.
I think this is easily going to be the toughest road challenge.
Yeah, I think you can add up all the attendance at those three other way games, and it might equal Virginia Tech's. Like, I'm saying that kind of jokingly, but it was pretty sparse.
But to me, I come back to like what you're saying, like the way State likes to play. Go out and punch him in the mouth if you can early. Get that lead early. And let your defense do its thing. I really think from a psyche standpoint, like someone pointed out or thought about, like what happens if Armstrong comes out that first drive, doesn't look so hot? Does that play? How does that play in the rest of the game? You don't know. It's all guessing. But
I think that's the biggest thing for me too, is how you come out of the gate in that environment. If we fall behind early, that's gonna be tough.
I will add to this. They had a couple players win Players of the Week, but their OC got the Coordinator of the Week this past week. So
it's BC though. Like, I know BC is 6-4 on the year, but that's a week 6-4 if you really dissect that. And I know we're not dissecting BC. They've done, like you said earlier, Megan, they've done a nice job beating the teams that they should be beating, but when they've stepped up in level of competition against Purdue, against Rutgers, heck, they even lost to Marshall, but that was when Marshall was really hot earlier in the season, and Marshall's taken a cliff dive since they played us. But they put up points where they should be putting up points, and I think that's kind of like, what's the word, cherry picking their stats a little bit. They got, like you said, they got annihilated by Louisville, and that's a Louisville team that we held to 13 points.
Yeah, for context in this last week.
Correct.
For context in this last week, Virginia Tech came off a 26-point win over Boston College, but I think it was Macon who said, I think there's a team that the perception of them and the reality isn't exactly the same. If you just looked at Virginia Tech is 5-5, the ACC teams they beat are Pitt, Wake, Syracuse, and Boston College. I don't think you wouldn't be unnecessarily stressed, But again, Lane Stadium is a crazy environment. Greg, you pointed out that State is 10-23-3 at Virginia Tech, whereas they're 9-5-1 against Virginia Tech at home. So what do you think are the keys to kind of going in, coming out of that gate hot, and being ready to play in
Yeah,
Blacksburg?
it's just that you gotta get in there, like Mike Macon said, punch them in the mouth, take that crowd out early.
Hard to
If
do for Virginia Tech, but
it is,
they're not
I mean,
going to go away.
no, there. I mean, look, there's so many similarities when you look at us and Virginia Tech from
Yes.
both from an academic standpoint, from an athletic standpoint. Like
Love Virginia Tech.
like yeah, I mean, we are kind of the one and the same. I this will be my third time out to Blacksburg. I enjoyed out there. It's really pretty. Here's one thing we haven't talked about. Weather's supposed to be beautiful, by the way. It's supposed to be about
Cold?
65.
Yes,
No,
it is.
65 degrees. Did it drop?
What? I didn't see 65.
Whoa.
I did
Wait.
see it drop.
Did it?
Oh.
Okay, I looked Saturday.
We'll check in on that.
We'll check
in
that.
on
We'll check that.
It is
All
going
right.
to be nice when no rain. It's going to be nice
Yeah.
in that regard.
Yeah.
So
Just cold.
I don't know. I thought it was going to be kind of cold actually. I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
So we'll have to
I'll
check
look
that.
at it real quick.
We'll check that stat. We didn't have that stat ready. It's okay. But no, it's I back to your question. I just think we have to get a lead. This is a team that we can't beat ourselves, right? We can't get behind the sticks. We can't. I don't want to go see Brennan chuck it 40 times. I just don't.
Right.
I want to have a ball control offense, get a lead, and then go put it on my defense. Say, okay, go close the game out.
And that's something we talked about in the live stream, right? This isn't a team that you want to put up 45, 50 points. This is a team that you want to see get ahead and stay there. Like against Wake Forest, the final score was 26-6. Could it have probably gone up to 50 for State? Maybe, but we got a lead and we let our defense go in there and get the job done, hold them to 6 points. We held Miami to 6 points. So is that what you think needs to be done here? Take an early lead and hold them from there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way State's going to play. You want to play to your strength, which is the defense. And so that means you have to give them the opportunity to play free. And they need to do that with the lead, right? So they have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just gives you so much more confidence when you have that lead, okay, we're on defense. It's like, okay, even if we slip up, we're still, as long as we stop them from getting in the end zone, okay, we can hold them to 3 instead of to 6. And
Right.
if you're up by a touchdown, then that's a win.
And that's not to say, State can't get, behind and, the defense can help you out there. I mean, I think they could take a lot of pride in getting the ball back and those kinds of things. It's just that's State's identity, right? That's their recipe for success. And to me, kind of talked about earlier, like we had discussion on the live show about getting Raphael involved, potentially going touches. Like right now, 3-0, the 1-0 mentality. It ain't broke, don't fix it. So, I think getting KC the ball a lot early is going to be key. Getting Brennan in the run game, to be honest with you, is going to be key. I like what we saw. We mixed some guys in, but we didn't really need to that first up against Wake Forest. Looking back against Clemson, Miami, we did that well, scoring early. So we'll see. And side note, Greg, high is 50.
Yeah, it dropped.
It's gonna be cold.
It did drop 53. That's about what it was at Wake last week, which was fine. By the way, I need to call out one of our players on defense, Peyton Wilson. You need to step up. You only had 7 tackles last week.
I think of that GIF where that meme where guys like he goes like, everyone, we need to figure it out. You're a problem.
Yeah,
you're a real problem.
Peyton Wilson, you need to step it up, son.
You're a problem. You're a real problem.
No, but how good is
hard
this
to get
defense
tackles when they're going 3 and out every drive?
Right, there you go. There's only so many tackles to go through when you have limited plays.
You can't let Jalen Scott out tackle you, dude. What the heck?
Yeah. He catches the ball, Peyton, with his 100.
He scored 2 points. What'd you score, Peyton?
No, but go ahead, Lindsay. We're just having a little fun.
You're
back
good.
on track.
All right. So, we've kind of wrapped it up. We said defense has to be on point, got to contain their quarterback. Drones, we got to get ahead early and kind of allow the defense to do their thing. So, let's wrap it up. Final thoughts, score predictions. Go ahead.
Well, one thing I thought of, going into this game, your quarterbacks played there before, on the road in that environment. You know,
Yeah, that's a
so
good point.
I
Yep.
feel a lot better going into this game with Brendan Armstrong as the QB than MJ Morris, whose road stats are limited.
0-1.
Yeah, wins 0-1, but yeah,
I'm gonna go and give up a prediction. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say 24-20 State right now. Maybe 24-23 State. I could see that being a score, maybe 27-23. But I'm gonna go 24-20.
you take all the scores.
I know, but it's somewhere right around there is what I feel like it's going to be, right? 'Cause I
Leave
feel
me a
like,
score prediction.
Yeah, I could go maybe 2
For
and 2,
reference-
maybe 3 and
Maybe.
2, maybe 5 and 2, maybe 5 and 3. No,
For
maybe
reference,
7
the
and 0.
over under is 44.5. So I think I'll slam the 24-20 right there on the over under.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable, and it's Greg's special magic number. 24
Magic
points
number.
wins us the
Well,
game.
I mean, it goes. The stats seem to play out to think that's what
Yeah.
it's
Oh, for
probably
sure.
going to be, right? They're
Yeah.
allowing Virginia Tech's allowing 23.9 points per game. They are
Mhm.
scoring 26. The state's allowing 19. I'm kind of thinking if you're allowing 19, you give up 3 or so. That's where I'm kind of thinking 20, 24, 23, 24,
Yep.
somewhere in there.
The math
I'm gonna
is
go
adding up.
24-20 State. Yeah, I think State gets the win here. But man, I will say I'm nervous about it. I think I could see Virginia Tech beating us, and it's just because I don't know what the ceiling is for this Virginia Tech team yet.
Right.
And that makes me nervous. Senior day,
Another one.
Lane Stadium, our team that's not played in this environment yet this season. It makes me nervous. I could totally see them
And-
beating us, but good.
And if they beat us, how does that affect momentum coming back to Carter to play UNC to end the regular season?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
State is state. They can be so perplexing. What a win is going to be and when it's going to be. So
I think if it was anybody but UNC, you were coming back home to play, I think it'd be different. But
you get up because of that game, regardless of whatever happened. The
even
previous
last
one.
year, we would if we lose to VT, we'll be 7-4, which is the same record we were going into the UNC game last year, and that
after
was on the
Louisville
road.
lost. Yeah,
after
we lost to
Louisville
Louisville.
lost.
Yep.
With the 4-string QB, so it
night and day.
It would put a little bit of a damper on it, but that last game against UNC is still going to be.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick? Let's say we lose this game against Virginia Tech. Where does that fall on your? Is it a disappointment? Is it? Should we win the game? Maybe ask that question.
I guess for me to really to answer that question, I probably couldn't give you the right answer right now. It would just depend on how we lost that game, right? Like did we beat ourselves? Did they just make a couple extra plays? Like that would kind of play into my overall answer. But I would think it would be. I mean, it's a road game, tough environment.
I wouldn't be like you guys are crazy for losing
We're-
this game.
But if we go get boat, if we go get boat raced, that's one thing. I think if it's a close ball game and we just didn't make a play or two and we didn't beat ourselves, I'm okay with that. Like I'm always okay
I agree.
with the team
We're
giving
the
its best
underdogs
effort.
right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
we are
like
3.5
one
point
now.
underdog in this game. It's a good point, Michael.
We are the
Somewhat
underdogs. It's a
significant.
sold-out stadium that's notoriously hard to win in. Virginia Tech has only lost there once this season. So as long as we're not, beating ourselves up, playing stupid, messing up things we shouldn't, I think if we lose in a close game, so be it. We won 3 in a row. We still have Carolina ahead of us. I think as long as we play as a cohesive group and look like we've continued to make an improvement and the offense is gelling, the defense is getting it done, I think if we lose, we lose.
Yeah, so my score prediction, I'm going to say we do better than last week. I said we're going to get 27, so we only got 26 last week. So we're going to see an improvement in the offense in that regard. Anyway, 27-20. That's what I'm going to go with.
All right, Michael, final score prediction.
I'll go 2017 back.
Okay.
20-17, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we will see. But that is it from us over here. If you like this video, please support this channel by hitting the subscribe button down there, liking this video, and following us on all of our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to keep up with all of our Tuffy Talk Wolfpack content. Go State, beat Tech.
Let's go Pack.